hope you are well. I have recently been in such a reading kick. I've really enjoyed reading again. I've been getting through books. I've been really excited to read books. And you know what? I would happily rather be in a fictional world than dealing with some of the stuff going on in our real life world right now. The world is in such an interesting place, and sometimes it can feel really like bleak and hopeless and just, really negative. And so, from time to time, I just love running away to my little cozy corner of the world and being deep inside of these beautiful stories. And I thought for this video, I actually just want to focus on reading some joyful, happy summer romances and, just find some of those warm and fuzzy feelings, because I have been really sensitive to some of this like world stuff. And I want to feel good. So I have a couple that I'm in the middle of. I've talked about Rewind It Back for a few videos now. I literally only have a couple of chapters, so we will finish that in this video. I'm also listening to Done and Dusted on audiobook. That one's been a good time. I finally gave in and decided to start reading those. They're a really fast read and really quick to listen to an audiobook while I'm doing stuff around the house. So that's been a good time. We'll definitely finish those. And then I have a couple others. I got One Golden Summer in my last bookstore visit. Definitely want to start this one and start reading that. And I thought maybe if there's time, we could also pop to the bookstore in this video. I'm not sure if we will have the time, but for a good bookstore visit, I can always squeeze in a bit of time here or there. I could literally go to the bookstore every day and be just as happy every single day. Is there anybody else out there that feels like that, who could just like go to the bookstore like it's a regular thing every single day and find pure happiness? So we may need to find some time to squeeze that in. But I also have a lot of books on my shelf here, my rom-com shelf, that I haven't read. There's like a couple of cute, like New York City food critic books. There's like one about a girl getting proposed to at a baseball game. There's, This Summer Will Be Different. There's some Renee Carlino books, although hers tend to be a little bit more serious, Second Chance. So I want to avoid anything serious. I think I'm looking for just a good time to feel some of that joy and happiness again, and, just kind of shut out some of these negative feelings. So we'll see what we get up to in this video, but thank you so much for being here, and I'm excited to spend a little time together finding some joy through some of these beautiful books. These shelves up here are some of my more fun romances, a lot of summery ones, the lighthearted ones, some of the rom-com ones. I love having them at the top of my shelves because they're so colorful and they just like brighten up the space. But I wanted to show you these because I feel like I could grab some of these if I run out of books in this vlog for joyful romances, summer romances. So I just wanted to go through a couple, starting on the left over here. I have This Summer Will Be Different. I haven't read that one yet. That's the only Carly Fortune book I haven't read apart from One Golden Summer. And then you get to Renee Carlino. She's a really great second chance romance writer. All of her books are very like heartfelt, I would say, and they always have some sort of love triangle as well. It's always like one girl deciding between two different guys, one from her past, one from her present. So I imagine that book is similar as well. But they're a good time. They're a really quick and easy read. Nothing that takes very long. They're good palate cleanser books if you are looking for something like that. And then moving along, I have 7 Days in June. That one's a little bit more serious, I think, so maybe I will skip that one for this video. I do want to get to it, but I know people have said it's quite emotional. It's very good, but quite emotional, so I might want to skip that for this week because I'm just not feeling in a sad mood. Moving along, I have Eleanor and Park. That one I think is like a high school first love type of romance, which is such a sweet sub-genre as well. So maybe I could grab that one. Moving along, I've read all of these. These are Tessa Bailey's. I'm such a hit or miss with Tessa Bailey, and to be very, very honest with you, I actually haven't loved any of her books since It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. The next few after that were not very good in my opinion, so I might skip those. And then moving along, oh my gosh, You Deserve Each Other. If you have not read You Deserve Each Other, you have to go read it if you like that rom-com banter type of book. Again, another quick, easy one to fly through, but that one had me cackling out loud. It was so, so funny. Love that one. Gave me very much like the Hating Game vibes, like early booktube when people were recommending those types of rom-coms. So definitely worth a read. Then I have my Finley Donovan books, which aren't really romance, but they were colorful books, so I just stuck them up there. And then over here I have a couple that I have not read. First Time Caller. I think that's like a Sleepless in Seattle retelling of two people that call into a radio show and, you know, get to know each other that way. Then I have Best Served Hot over there. That's, I think, about two food critics in New York who stumble into like the Instagram food scene, and they're like bloggers, and I think that's how they meet. So anything food related is always going to have my heart, so maybe we'll reach for that one. And then at the end I also have The Proposal. I think that one is a girl who gets proposed to at a baseball game in front of everyone, and she's only been dating the guy for a couple of months and she finds it really weird. So I think a different guy at the game comes to her rescue and helps her flee. So that sounds a lot of fun. Maybe that one could be good as well. So yeah, quite a few to pick from on my shelves. I did get rid of a bunch last year when I did a book unhaul, and these were the last few that kind of sounded fun to me. So yeah, we'll see what we get to. And then further down the bookshelves, you get to some of my more serious reads. So I don't think I will reach for any of those. There are a lot of romances in those shelves, but they're a little bit more intense and a little bit more going on. And I'm not looking for that right now. I'm looking for a little bit of joy, maybe some laughter, and just something light and easy. And just as I was showing you guys those books, the doorbell rang and I got some happy mail. I love getting book mail. That's like the best kind of mail to get. And I forgot I had ordered this book. It's The X Vows. This is by Jessica Joyce. Look how beautiful that cover is. If that is not summertime on a cover, I don't know what else could be. I've heard so many good things about this book. It is two ex-lovers, I think, who come together again. They're kind of like forced into the situation where they have to help save their best friend's wedding. And I think it takes place like in a vineyard in Napa Valley. I mean, oh, talk about like a dream summer setting. So I think I definitely want to get to this book as well sometime soon, hopefully in this vlog. I know there's a lot of other books to consider as well, so I don't know what we'll have time for, but I feel like I want to drop everything else to get to this, because a wedding setting in the summertime, it's like reading a beach read in the summertime. For me, weddings are the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of feeling of reading like a wedding romance while the sun is shining, and there are so many weddings going on right now. It's like the perfect time to read a book like this. So maybe we will get to this one in this vlog as well. Rio is like the best book boyfriend. Talk about acts of service. a little while later now. Today was so fun getting to properly sit down and just do some reading. And then we celebrated the baby's 6-month birthday. I had so much fun baking that little half birthday cake that I showed you snippets of. It was so cute. And even though he couldn't have any, it was still kind of fun to take pictures and do all the things. But anyways, I did manage to finish Rewind It Back. I loved it so much. Of course, I knew it was going to be a 5-star read. This series has just been so much fun to read and dive into and to get to know all these characters and this found family, and I can say nothing wrong about this series. It will actually go down as one of my favorites. And when I was thinking about it today, I was thinking, how would I rank them? Even though I've given them all 5 stars, I have some favorites more than others. And so I wanted to share with you how I would rank them. And it may be a little controversial because I've not heard anyone else rank the first one that I'm gonna pick as their favorite, but I just loved it so much. And so for me, my favorite is Caught Up. This one was the baseball one where Kai, the main character, is a single dad, and Miller is the female main character. She's also the daughter of one of the coaches. I just loved all of the dad aspects in this. So the single dad that we have, which is our main male character, but then also the relationship between Miller and her dad, who is the coach. I don't know, there was something about a single dad that's gonna get me every time, just how sweet they are, how cute they are with the kids. I also love the fact that she was a baker. I love anything to do with like a bakery setting, a cafe setting, just any of those like cozy vibes. So this book was a ton of fun for me to read, and I just really liked it. This one definitely is my favorite of the series. Then I would probably rank The Right Move. Ryan Shea, he is just everyone's, I was just making sure that was indeed his name. It is Ryan Shea. He's everyone's favorite book boyfriend, and it is simply because of his acts of service, the things he does for Indy. There is just no outranking Ryan Shea in that department. He did an amazing job, and everyone loves him for that. And Indy as well, I just loved her character, such a strong, independent woman, just really colorful personality. I loved everything about her. So this one's definitely my second favorite. So we have Caught Up, and then The Right Move, and then I had to rank Mile High as my next favorite. This is the first book in the series. This is what got me into it, and I was down bad for these books after that. And I just love Xander's confidence, the main male character in this. He just, I don't know, he reads like the fun, confident friend that everybody wants. And then Stevie as well, just, you know, a really like another really strong female lead in this. I love that she kind of, you know, goes through this character arc of going through some like body image issues, which I don't think is talked about enough in books, even though I think a lot of us could relate to stuff like that. So I like that that is what she explored in this book. And then just see Stevie like build her confidence over the course of the story. I also loved all the scenery, the scenes of them like flying to different cities together, her being the flight attendant, just a really cool dynamic. And like I said, it's, you know, because it was the first book in the series and I'd not read anything like it, it really just captured my attention and got me so excited for the rest of the books to come. So this is my third favorite. Then I'd have to rank Rewind It Back. This is the one I just read. This one is childhood friends who lost touch, something happened, came back into each other's lives, second chance trope, forced proximity, all the right words to say to a romance reader like me. I loved Hallie and Rio. I thought they were really cute. The only thing I guess I would say that I didn't love was there's like a slight miscommunication type of thing going on. Like, I feel like maybe a conversation could have just fixed what was going on a lot sooner. So I don't always love that whole dynamic, but I understand why she wrote the story the way she did. And like I said, I still gave it 5 stars. I still loved it. I loved all the then chapters, like when it went to the past and talked about how they fell in love growing up and their shared love of music and how that connected them, and just how they would meet up when they were younger on the roof, and just all of the past chapters. They always get me in these types of books, and I just thought it was so sweet. And yeah, I love these two. And then the last book I would rank is Play Along. It's not to say that this book wasn't also really great, but I think out of all 5 of them, it's definitely my least favorite, even though I still gave it 5 stars. Kennedy and Isaiah were a lot of fun to read about. Their story had been like crumbing throughout the first 3, and so I don't know what I expected, but I guess it wasn't really this, and I had a good time reading it, but I guess it doesn't stand out in my mind the way the other 4 do. Like if you asked me like specific details about this book right now, I just couldn't give them to you. Like I know they get married in Las Vegas and have this like forced like fake marriage situation, but it just wasn't giving as many butterflies as the rest of these when I compare it. But again, still a great book, still part of the series. You see all of the other friends pop in and out, still likable characters, but to me, not as memorable, I guess, as some of these others. So if you have not read these series, I have yapped on and on enough about it. I think everybody else has yapped on and on enough about these books. You have got to get your hands on these. They are also on Kindle Unlimited, so if you want to read it that way, that's really easy to read as well. But these covers are also a lot of fun. I just kind of love the city vibe on the front. She has one more book coming out in kind of this series. It's kind of like a spin-off. It's about the dad in my favorite book. So my favorite book was Caught Up, and the dad that I mentioned, like the female male character's dad, Monty, he's getting his own book. So I'm really, really excited to read that one. I think that's going to come out next year. And then I will be excited to see what else Liz Tomford gets up to, like what new series she comes up with after that. So even though I'm kind of sad to say goodbye to these characters, I'm also kind of excited to see like what new world she's going to create. So I'm glad I got through all of that last book. I'm gonna sit now and catch up on The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then I will catch you either tomorrow, a little bit later in the day, to start a new book. Next day, and I am about to pick out a new book to read. Last night, as you saw, I finished Rewind It Back. That was a ton of fun, but I am ready to dive into another world. And in keeping with the theme of this video, I'm still feeling like I want some happy summer romances. I have 2 here in front of me. We've already talked about them. They are One Golden Summer and The X-Files. They both have such summer vibes. They both could be a good time. One is set at the lake, one is set at a wedding in Napa Valley. And I was just sitting here trying to decide which one to read. I mean, they both are giving exactly what I am looking for. But I think since I haven't read anything by Jessica Joyce, let's try out a new author. I love giving shout outs to new authors. I think this is only her 2nd book, so I want to see what she's all about. And I haven't read a wedding setting book in quite some time, so this could be a really good time. And I have heard really good things about it. So let's hope it's as dreamy and cute and fun and summery as the cover and people and the back have promised. I'm expecting a really good time. So I'm gonna read a couple of chapters of this now before my day gets going. I've been starting my days with a little bit of light reading. I talked about it in my regulating your nervous system video, and I promise it has helped so much. If you feel like you're always frantically running into your day and you never get a minute to yourself before the to-do list takes over, I would really recommend getting up maybe just slightly earlier if you can and squeeze in some tiny thing that you enjoy before you grab your phone, before the day gets going. And it really does help a ton with the rest of your day not getting ahead of you. So I'm gonna just read a couple of chapters before I go make a coffee, I have breakfast, and then the whole day kind of takes off from there. So I'm really excited, and let's see what this one's all about. For past me who didn't give up, and for future me who will look back on all of this and be so proud. Love that. The meet cute is actually really, really cute. That was only the prologue I just finished. It was like 6 pages, and oh my goodness, I already feel like I have such butterflies and like those warm and fuzzy feelings. I'm so excited. You know, the thing is with books like this, like romance books, I am a romance book lover. This is where my love for reading started. But sometimes they can all be kind of very samey, and you know, you use these books a lot of the times as like a palate cleanser. It's not necessarily like the most groundbreaking or amazing book. So sometimes, you know, when I'm in one of these moods, reading these kinds of books is good because they're light and fluffy and airy. But every now and again, you come across one that just gives you like those butterfly feelings, and it stands out among the rest of them. I mean, listen, I've only read a couple of pages, so who knows where this book could go. It could be terrible after this one chapter, but I feel like it's giving me the same type of vibes that, you know, those types of books give you, where you're like, okay, I think this is going to be a really good time. And I think this one might actually stand out from all of the other like summery rom-com romances. And I haven't had that feeling in a very long time when it comes to a romance book. I mean, I've read a lot of great romance books recently, like Rewind It Back was amazing, you know, but it was the 5th book in the series, so I kind of expected it to follow a similar pattern that Liz Tomford follows. So that initial kind of butterfly feeling wasn't there. And then some of the other ones I've read earlier this year, also very good. But I think sometimes when you come across a new author and a new way that they might be approaching a topic, or the way they write, sometimes can catch you off guard. And that prologue was such a good time. It was only a couple of pages, and I'm already like really excited to read it. So that's a good sign. I'm now gonna sit here and probably read a couple more chapters off camera, and then my day needs to get going. So I will catch you guys a little bit later. Later now, and we had a bit of a busy day today and got out and did a few things, but I still managed to finish another book, and that is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I finished listening to it on audiobook, and I'm not usually somebody that listens to a lot of books on audiobooks, but recently it's been growing on me, especially with these lighter kind of airy romances that don't require you to pay attention to every single word like a fantasy would. I don't think I could listen to a fantasy on audiobook just because there's like so much going on, and I like to look at the actual words on the page and, you know, really kind of soak it in. But with these kinds of books, it's easy to pop in your AirPods and cook dinner and do the dishes or whatever it is. So that was really easy to listen to, and I gave it 3 stars. I had a nice time listening to it. The narrators were good. It's a lot spicier than I thought it was going to be, but it was fine because the 2 characters I thought had really good chemistry. I also love that it was like brother's best friend, and it was set in this small town and all the ranch vibes. It's just so different to my everyday life or anybody that I know, that it's so fun to like escape into these different worlds sometimes, these different realities that people live. And this one is, you know, quite cute in this little community that they have. I'm also really excited about the best friend. So even though I gave it 3 stars, I'm still excited to read the rest of the books in the series. There's 3 more. And so I'll definitely be giving those a shot. And like I said, the best friend character sounded so fun, so cheery, and like she has a bit of an edge. And I think the next book is about her and the brother. So it's like the opposite of this one, which is like brother's best friend. And then the brother ends up, I think, with her best friend. So very interesting little dynamic there. Again, very small town. Everybody kind of knows everybody. And so your chances of hooking up with someone you know are very high. But I think that makes it quite cozy of a read. So I will definitely give the next one a try, and probably on audiobook as well. I think they're all on audiobook. So those are easy to just have in your ear, like I said, when you're just kind of doing a few things around the house. But for now, I am so excited to keep reading The X Vows. You guys, this book has been such a good time. And you know, in this vlog, I've read The Right Move and now Done and Dusted, and those were nice. They were fun to read, really interesting worlds and characters and whatever. But this, oh my gosh, this is what I was talking about when I said I wanted a joyful, summery, pick-me-up kind of read. It is giving me everything I need and more. I am about 50% of the way through and having the best time. I like both characters. The only thing I don't like is that we don't have dual perspective. So we don't get his side of the story. It's only told from the female male main character. And I do relate a lot to her internal dialogue, which is so nice because oftentimes with female characters, you know, sometimes I can't really join them on their journey, but with her, she's really relatable. She's really down to earth. She struggles with like people pleasing and abandonment issues and, you know, wanting to try super hard and all these kinds of things that like most normal people do deal with. So I do like her internal dialogue. I just wish we got some of his, especially because this is a second chance romance. And in second chance romances, I love when they encounter each other again. And there's always those like residual feelings left over. And they have all this like internal dialogue and conflicting feelings about seeing this person again, especially if it's been a long time. In their case, it's been about 5 years. And so obviously it's going to bring up a ton of old feelings. And I just love hearing kind of that conflict in the character's mind. And I really wish we had his point of view as well, but we don't, but that's okay. It's still reading really, really fun. And I've just been having the best time with it. It's set in Napa Valley. It's about a wedding that is just disastrous from the minute they've been planning it. Everything is going wrong. And these two are kind of thrown together to save the day. And they have to find like a cake and a DJ and all these things. And so many different moving parts, but all while that's going on, they're kind of like dealing with being back in each other's lives and some of the conflicts they had back in the day when they broke up. And I have to say also with second chance romances, a lot of the times it ends up being like the miscommunication trope. But in this situation, it's actually not. And I find that refreshing. Like the conflict that the two of them have from the past, it's actually something that I feel like a lot of people probably go through. It's very real. It's not like forced and gimmicky just to write a story, but it's a very relatable thing, I think. So I like that aspect of it as well. And yeah, I'm just having a really great time with it. The only thing I will say that is kind of not great is I don't like the way the author like so obviously points out race in different ways. So I appreciate that she's writing a novel that has some diverse characters, but she calls it out really weird. So she'll be like, you know, oh, we went to the cake shop and an Indian woman appeared, or, you know, there was a white woman that did X, Y, and Z, or there was an Asian woman that blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's just a little too blatantly called out and making it a little bit too obvious instead of doing it subtly or bringing it up in different ways. It just reads a little strange. So that's the only thing that I don't like about this book, but it's a very minor, tiny thing. Otherwise, been having a fantastic time. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening diving into this book. Let's see how far I can get. I have a feeling maybe if I catch the reading bug, I'm probably gonna wanna just finish it tonight. So we'll see if I'm able to do that or if I get tired and head to bed early, but I will give you an update once I have read a little bit more. it is the end of the week now, and I wanted to give a quick recap before I let you guys go. I finished The X-Vows by Jessica Joyce. Loved, loved, loved this book. It was such a good time. None of it dragged on. It was a really great pace. There was so much going on. I really, really had a great time reading this and would highly recommend it, especially if you're trying to squeeze in some final little summer books. This one is worth it, and I loved it. I loved the two characters. I think they had great chemistry. I love the internal struggles they both go through. Even though you don't get the male's perspective, there are no chapters written in his POV, you still get a lot from his interactions. And I love the therapy representation, the anxiety representation. That was so refreshing to read about. I also loved, there's something he said in the book at one point where he said to the female lead, he said, you know, he's like, communicate with me, tell me what you're feeling, like, let's be open and honest. Like, I just love that encouraging messaging around communicating, because a lot of romance books, sometimes they use the miscommunication trope a little too much, and it was just really refreshing to see a male character just be encouraging about having open communication. So I really like that aspect of it. The wedding was such a fun plot point of this book, just everything being a disaster. It kept things kind of moving at a steady pace. There was always something going on, but not so much that it was like too much. She did a really great job with this book, and as soon as I finished it, I had to get on my phone and order her first book. It's called You with a View. I am 100% reading that in the very near future, probably before summer's over, because I just love the way she writes. I really enjoy the internal dialogue of the character. Just everything felt really natural as well. The conflict wasn't forced, the interactions, the friend group, it's all very like realistic things that you or I would experience, and that was just a really refreshing part of this book. So highly, highly recommend this if you've been thinking about picking it up. I will let you know what I think about You with a View. I hope it's just as good. And I gotta say, I need to give a shout out to the illustrator of these books. They're just so stunning, and even You with a View just has like the most stunning cover as well. It's very much my vibe and very summery as well. So I'm so glad this week was spent reading these romance books. I do feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more joyful. I just needed this to kind of offset and balance some of the seriousness going on in our world and everything else. So this week accomplished what it needed to accomplish, but I am definitely feeling a little bit burned out from reading. I'm a little scared of a reading slump coming on. So this upcoming week, I might need to do a few things that are reading, but reading in a different way, maybe a slower way, but also some other cozy hobbies. There's a lot of little different things that I haven't had time to get to because I've just been reading so much in my free time. So there's some I don't know, just a bunch of hobbies that I've had kind of stashed away in this hobby closet that I want to get to. So we'll see what happens this coming week. I also want to keep making the most of New England summer. New England is just so beautiful in the summertime, all the boats and the hydrangeas and lobster rolls and just all that New England goodness. So we'll see what the next week brings. I thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time.